everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Dream Big, Pray Hard, Never Quit video series. Today, we have got with us a young man graduate from ACOC who is a doctor. So I'm pretty impressed with this young man. I never got the pleasure of teaching him. He left. He graduated the year before I went to ACOC, but I knew his mother, met his father a few times. And our principal, Dr. Moore, told me a lot about this young man. So I am excited to interview this young man, Dr. Cameron Taylor. Thank you so much for being on Dream Big, Pray Hard, Never Quit. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for letting me be a part of your program. I really appreciate it. It's a tremendous opportunity and glad to be able to share my story.
Well, thank you so much. And I am excited to have you on here. How these interviews go, and I tell everyone this, I'm going to let you tell your story, and then I'm just going to interrupt you when I feel like it. So you start wherever you want, and we're going to have a good time. So it is all you, brother.
All right. Well, just a little bit about myself. I'm from Goldsboro, born and raised. My parents, Trey and Rhonda Taylor, are active members of the community. My dad's an attorney here in town, and my mom taught at Charles B. Aycock High School, and I was lucky enough to be one of her students and passed her class. That worked out okay.
that had to be a little odd.
A little uncomfortable at times. So I try not to call her mom in front of the whole class, and but at the same time, if I ever needed her help, I'd try to grab her when she'd walk close by, so I didn't have to announce her name because people knew that I was her son, but I didn't want to put anybody in an uncomfortable position.
So none of that. Yo, mom, come here, man. Come here.
Not at all. I tried to fly under the radar.
I get it.
But then I have a younger sister, Caroline. She was a graduate of ACOC, graduated in the class of 2016.
I know her.
She is now in law school at Campbell. Very proud of her.
Hey, I did not know that. That's awesome. Following in Dad's footsteps.
That's right. He's tickled about it. And she's completed, I guess, her first month and a half. And hopefully she's figured out the difference between state and federal court by now. We'll see. She's
going to love you for that. Just so you know.
For sure. I'd like to get a little jab at her for that one. But anyways, I ended up going to Carolina for undergrad after graduating from ACOC in 2012, and I was fortunate enough and blessed enough to be able to stick around for dental school at Carolina. And I have just come back to Goldsboro, recently moved home, actually living with mom and dad, and so I'm practicing in Goldsboro with Lefevre's dental team here on Wayne Memorial, providing a wide range of care to patients of all ages, and really enjoying my experiences and getting back to be a productive member of the community. So I'm really, really enjoying myself right now.
So tell me about, why did you want to become, how did you want to become a dentist? What made you decide that? Your dad's an attorney, your mom's a teacher, and you were like, you know what? I think I'm gonna become a dentist.
Well, for starters, my dad's dad always told him the only thing he could do was talk with his hands. And I always thought I was a little bit more gifted and could do stuff with my hands besides just talk. But anyway, that's beside the point. I ended up having not really much in the range of dental care when I was growing up. It was just more so the routine cleanings and x-rays and exams, and never had to have teeth pulled, never had braces or orthodontic work. And so I really didn't get experiences myself, but I was able to witness my sister on several occasions. She had extractions to create space. She always had a little mouth, even though it's hard to believe at times.
Was she a cheerleader?
That's right, cheerleader.
Okay.
And a little mouth. I don't believe that for 1 second. But regardless, she ended up having extractions of her teeth on multiple occasions, and so I got to go through that process with her and help try to nurse her back to health, or to the best of my ability. And so then I had a close personal relationship with my general dentist, and I shadowed him throughout high school and in college, and just never saw a procedure that scared me away. I always enjoyed watching him work with his hands and have instant gratification with procedures for the patient, and just seeing their appreciation. But more than anything was just the close, personal, warm relationships that a dentist is able to make with his patients. And that's something I strive to do each and every day. And learn about the patient's background and how they got to the dental chair. And so that's what led me to dentistry. And pretty tickled with my career so far.
So while you were at ACOC, you were on a championship baseball team. Am I correct?
That's right. I was on the 2012 baseball team at ACOC. We were the state runner-up, and we had our ups and downs that year. Ended up having a lull during the middle of the season to where we lost a few games and got on a little bit of a bad losing streak, and ended up righting the ship, though, just in the nick of time towards the end of the season, and ended up tying for second, actually, for the conference, but we drew the shortest straw, so we earned the 4th seed from our conference for the playoffs, and just started, actually as a team, started gelling at the right time. We played every playoff game on the road.
I was going to say, yeah, you're 4th seed. You're not playing at home at all.
That's right. Every Tuesday or Friday, it was, where are we going on the bus this time? And opened up with a first-round game over at D.H. Conley, and most times when you go over there to play, you don't leave happy. And
I'm going to tell you something. I don't mean to interrupt your story.
Oh, you're fine.
I hated going to Conley.
All
the places.
It just seemed like there was a lot of home cooking going on over there.
I was just like, I hated going to Conley. No matter, I coached tennis, football, wrestling. No matter what I did, I hated going to that school. So, not that I hated the school, I just did not like going there. So, if anyone from D.H. Conley is watching this, I don't hate your school, but I sure hated going there to play.
That's right. As a visiting team, you did not often leave happy playing.
That's right.
And we ended up getting down early, and in the late innings had a miraculous comeback and won that game on the road at Conley. So we were just tickled to get by and with a win and get out of there. And so next round we were going on the road the following game to Jacksonville. Kind of eerie situation over there with a rain delay, and just things were not looking good, and just didn't really have a good feeling about it, but ended up pulling out a win over there. Then we go to Currituck, ended up winning that game. Then we went to West Brunswick and thought that was going to be the end of the line, and we pulled out a win there in the nick of time. Just never gave up as a team. So then we go to the.
So
Eastern
what was
Final.
Charles Davis doing, Coach Davis doing at this point? You guys win against Brunswick, and he's probably like.
That's right. He thought the world was ending. That's right. Yeah, there was a point in our season that year earlier on. We were playing so bad, like the Bad News Bears almost, that he threatened to stop having us practice. We just tired of wasting everybody's time. That's how we got to the end of the line, it seemed, with him. And so we had some very uncomfortable practices for a while.
I bet.
Like I was saying earlier, we righted the ship and made the playoffs and made some noise in the playoffs. And after West Brunswick played Eastern Alamance and ended up, I don't know how it happened, but it was a best-of-3 series, and we ended up gaining home field advantage. So game 1 was at home at ACOC, first home game in over a month probably. Ended up getting no hit and beat by the 10-run rule again in game 1. And so at that point, it's like, well, our luck's run out. The Road Warriors are over. They're done for. Go for game 2 at Eastern Alamance, long bus ride, but hey, we were used to being on the bus. That wasn't no big deal for us boys. And show up over there, and it's like they're having a cookout. They've got grills going. They're playing cornhole. All the players are flirting with the team's daughter, the coach's daughter, the head coach's daughter, and they're flirting with him and her and having a good time. And so it's like, well, these guys aren't taking us serious. They've already written us off. And so that really lit a fire under us and gave us a lot to play for at that point to prove them wrong. And we turned around and 10-run ruled them that game. So we returned the favor. So then go for game 3 back at ACOC. And we're like, oh, goodness, back at home. We just got no hit. There's all kinds of curses going on that field. We're a road team, just have all kinds of emotion going through our minds. And so the night we got back from Eastern Alamance, we ended up having a seance on the field, and I'll never forget Coach Thomas and Coach Nelson Cunningham leading a little seance down on the field. We had Anderson Barnes. He was our dugout guy, our main cheerleader. He took us down to the field, and we had that seance with tiki torches lit, and they prayed over us. And I'm sure if anybody was out past hours at ACOC and saw us out there in the middle of the night with tiki torches and having this seance and singing Kumbaya and all that good stuff, they would have thought we had gone crazy. And what's the world coming to? And so we ended up showing up the next day for the game, got on the bus, and ended up like it was an away game. We got on the bus, rode over to Norwayne, and basically drove in a big circle through Pikeville and Fremont and rolled up at ACOC. Ended up coming in a different gate to go to the field than the one we left on, so it felt like we were on the road. I mean, we were doing all kinds of superstitious things.
I was going to say, when you play sports, you become extremely superstitious.
That's right.
I know that's horrible, but I remember putting my socks on the same way, wearing the same outfit every Friday before a football game. And I'm sitting here thinking, we suck. Why am I doing this the same way every time? I should be doing something different. Maybe
That's
we'll
right.
win.
That's right. We all had some smelly, lucky underwear by the end of it. So needless to say, we wore our road gray uniforms for the home game that Saturday, game 3, and very contested battle between us and Eastern Alamance. We were up in the last inning probably 6-3, and they started making a comeback on us, and ended up getting the tying run on base at first. He ended up getting on first base with 2 outs, and guy tried to steal to get in scoring position, and our catcher, Justin Barber, threw a laser to me. I played shortstop and ended up making a good catch on the ball, and dove to make a tag and tagged the guy just in the nick of time before he reached base safely. So we got the final out. I was able to record that at second base, and the rest is history. We ended up dogpiling on the field and
I bet.
made the state championship, and just the crowd went crazy. Just an unbelievable experience, and just great to be a part of, and just really made those great memories our senior year of high school. I mean, that definitely took the cake.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So made the state championship and came up a little short there. We played a tough team outside of Charlotte, but just what an honor to be able to say you played in the state championship.
Oh yeah. That's awesome.
What a great group of guys and had a great relationship with, and just that fellowship. It was just unbelievable.
And a great story of down and out, and
that's right. That's right, and it just goes back to all the fundamentals we practiced in each practice, and comes from all the great drills that Coach Davis has done throughout the years, and just adds to his success, just how successful he has been as a coach, just from making game situations in practice and instilling confidence in us and building us up to be great men and great players at the same time.
Yeah, and he is in the Hall of Fame now.
Definitely, very well deserved.
Deserved. He did. He's done some great things with some very good kids, and good man, very good man there.
Very good, and tickled to have him as a coach and a friend, and just blessed to be a part of the Charles B. Aycock community, and just the family-oriented environment that's always instilled there at Aycock.
So what was it? What was the process of getting into dental school? What did that look like? Were there any hiccups, anything like that?
Well, so I went to Carolina for undergrad, and started out as a biology major because you had to take a lot of those biology courses as prerequisites for dental school. And so I took actually placed out of the introductory biology course thanks to AP Biology with Miss Gandy at Aycock, and so I was able to check that off.
Shout out.
That's right. And so I started in the second level biology course, ecology and evolution, and ended up not doing too hot on the first test. I studied really hard, really put a lot of time and effort into it, and my grade definitely didn't show it. Went to meet with the professor in office hours, and just trying to see where I went wrong and what I could do to avoid having that happen again on the second test. And the teacher, I remember to this day, said, you probably just need to drop the class.
That's nice.
There's a lot of ground to be made up here. And so that definitely hit me pretty hard. That was probably freshman year. And still trying to find my way around campus and get used to being away from home and that sort of thing. So I definitely got hit pretty hard by that. Dropped the course, ended up changing my major to chemistry. I've always been more of a math-minded person with my mom being a math teacher. And
Right.
so there's more math involved in chemistry and not as much conceptual things, I felt like. And I had to take a lot of chemistry courses for dental school as well. And I think the biology course was second semester, first year. And so I'd already taken a chemistry course the fall semester and did well in that. And so I just decided to major in chemistry and ended up doing okay in some of those classes. Definitely some hiccups along the way. Had to call home a few times in tears and get consoled a little bit. But even through all those trials and tribulations, I never truly gave up. I just kept pushing forward and just knew that I was going to give it my best shot. And if that wasn't good enough at the end of the day, well, I would live with the result, but I was not going to let it deter me from trying to accomplish my dream of becoming a dentist. And so ended up graduating with a chemistry degree from UNC in 2016. And then after that, started my junior year. I took the dental admissions test and did well enough on that where I was a competitive applicant for UNC.
Now, this is your junior year. You're taking this.
That's right. In between
Okay.
junior and senior year, that summer, took a Kaplan course during the spring and then studied really hard over the summer and took that, I think in July after my junior year, right before senior year started. And so did well enough on that to be a competitive applicant and went into the fall semester, started working on my applications, got actually a local dentist, Dr. Emily Pilkington, got her to look over my application and offer some suggestions and that sort of thing. And then I got my letters of recommendation all together and then did some mock interviews with Emily and some others and applied to dental school. Ended up not hearing back for a while. I got my application submitted in August, September timeframe, I believe. Then ended up, it was back in December, and I had come home right after exams and was going to meet my dad for lunch. And I knew the interview process, the interviews, the months as far as they did 1 weekend a month for interviews. And it was September, October, November, and January. They skipped December with Christmas and being a short month. And so I knew that my time was sort of starting to run out. And I was getting towards the end of the line if I was going to get an interview or not. And I was on the way to lunch to meet my dad after exams had finished up, and I was back home. And I got a phone call from a Chapel Hill number. And I thought that was strange and unusual, but regardless, I answered it. And it happened to be the admissions director at UNC Dental School. And she called me to tell me that somebody had dropped out from the interview process last minute. They had one final slot available, and was I interested in coming to interview that day?
I want to stop right there. And I want you, because this is the part where the dreams are, they come true because of all that hard work. And I mean, there's still a ton of hard work, but I want you to remember that feeling of that phone call and oh my God, I got an interview. My dream, it's almost, I'm an interview away.
That's right.
I mean, that had to be an awesome feeling.
That's right, because I felt like I was counted out and knew that the odds were super slim. And then for the stars to align and get an interview, it definitely seemed like it was starting to come together, and it was meant to be. And so I ended up meeting Dad for lunch, telling him, went out to ACOC and told my mom, and then reality started to set in that, oh goodness, I got an interview to prepare for tomorrow.
Because you're very, I went, told my dad, told my mom. Now, I'm screaming, I'm like, yo, Dad, guess what? I mean, Where's the excitement? Was there
Oh,
excitement in
I
there?
was tickled to death, but at the same time, just the nerves of knowing
Scared to
what was
death.
coming. I still had to perform in prime time and be under the gun, and ended
And
up
it was the next day.
the next day. So I went out to ACOC and told my mom, ran into Dr. Moore, and he took me in his prayer closet at school and just
Yep.
prayed over me, reassured me, told me everything was going to be all right, and just to go there, be myself, and just trust God and his process and his plan. And so that's what I did. When I got there the day of the interview, I was telling some of my interviewers that I was like the person that was on the way to hell, and at the last second, angel swooped down and just picked me up right there and went through the pearly gate, took me to the pearly gates of heaven, and I faced the Lord on his throne, and I say, well, I smell like smoke, but I sure am glad to be here. And they got a big laugh about that. And the interview process was went pretty well. Ended up having 2 faculty interviews and 1 student interview, and ended up really telling my story and who I was, and felt like I made a good impression and felt like I had a good shot of gaining admission. So then that was in January. In the December, January timeframe. And then you're supposed to start finding out around February 1st for the first round of people that are admitted. And then after that, into March or April. Didn't hear anything in February. Time rolls around March, April, and still hadn't heard anything. Starting to see some movement of folks on just forum postings on students that are interested in going to dental school, that there's been people admitted. And so once again, starting to count myself out. Ended up getting a letter in the mail that I had been waitlisted, which meant that I was not a no, but not a yes either, but still had a chance of getting in. And so I started making plans at that point to continue my education. I ended up doing an exit interview, and they advised me to continue moving forward with working in a dental office or shadowing or improving my education. And so I decided to take off my Carolina blue and go over to the dark side and pursued a master's in physiology at NC State, of all places. Hurt my dad's heart for me to have to go over there. But anyway, so I got that in gear and ended up going to State for about 2 weeks, started in August, and did orientation, went to the first week and a half of classes. And the thing with the wait list was it was supposed to be voided after the first day of dental school classes. So dental school classes rolled around and never heard anything. So I had already started working on my application cycle up to that point, and improving and refining my application for the next cycle. And that summer I had also gotten a volunteer opportunity with a pediatric dentist at the dental school on a research project that involved going around to Wages Head Starts around North Carolina and doing exams on children there that was also correlated with water samples that they would give to the kids to take home and sample their water supply and see if there was a correlation between genetics and water supply and geography in North Carolina, and if it had a relation to children developing cavities at an early age. And so I made exam baggies and would approach it like a job and went Monday through Friday, a couple hours each day. And so I became a constant face around the dental school. And I feel like that started to work in my favor to help improve my application and who I was and being a familiar face. And so then, like I said, back to State, I had done the first week and a half of classes. I had counted off the wait list there. And on the first Friday of the semester at State, everybody wears red, or at least what I had been told. And so the first Friday before this point, I wore red. And
now, did everyone know you were already a graduate from UNC?
Yeah, that's right. They did. And I didn't tell this part earlier, but my girlfriend, we met in our senior year of undergrad, and she ended up doing the same master's program at NC State, and she wanted to either go to dental school or medical school, and that allowed her the time to do the shadowing to end up pursuing improving her education, as well as giving her time to figure out what she wanted to do. So we ended up taking the same classes that fall at State, and we carpooled together. She lived in an apartment in Chapel Hill, and I did too. So it was just convenient for both of us to commute over from Chapel Hill together. And
Now,
so
you two still dating?
we are still dating.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I was sweating asking that question because, okay, I might have to cut this part out.
That's
But,
right.
So, well,
We need to
good.
edit that out. No, we're still together. Been dating 5 years as of about 2 weeks ago. And
I'm not going to say this, but
I know, that's right. That's
just
right.
saying,
She didn't put too much pressure on me, so, but it's
not yet.
She's the one. She's the one. But anyways, we carpooled over to NC State together, and the first Friday she didn't wear red. I gave her an incredibly hard time about it because I wore red and she didn't. So the second Friday rolls around, and I got my outfit picked out and have class around probably 11 o'clock, and I'm in my apartment around 9 o'clock that morning. And I guess to roll time back a little bit, on that same day, I had gotten a text from Dr. Moore, and he had been a big part of helping me to be reassured that everything was going to be okay and God had a plan for me, whether it was dental school or not. So I always enjoyed getting texts and prayers and him lifting me up. And that morning, actually at 7:34, I had gotten a text from him. And exact quote here, he sent me Romans 8:28, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and are called according to his purpose. Hi, Cameron. All is well. God is good, and he has a special plan for your life. Take care, and I love you. And little did I know, and I found out after the fact, that in the wee hours of the morning, he had woken up with me on his mind and was unable to go back to sleep. Ended up going into his prayer closet at home and prayed for me. And when he got to school that morning, he ended up finding my mom in her classroom, told her that God had a special plan for her son. And so at 9:23, to roll time forward a little bit, that morning, I got a phone call that changed my life forever. The admissions director from UNC called me to tell me that a student had dropped out at the end of the first week of classes. And she asked me, was I interested in that spot, and offered me admission into dental school. And I went absolutely crazy, just absolute stunned of what happened, because never in the 62-year history of the UNC School of Dentistry had a student been admitted after classes had begun. And so I was just overjoyed by the news. It came together. God had a tremendous plan. And while it always seemed like it may not work out and you want to lose trust and lose hope, just know that he's always working behind the scenes on your behalf. And it was just an absolute godsend. And it just felt like it was just meant to be. The stars were aligned, and God moved mountains and made a spot for me. And so I was overjoyed, like I said. First thing after telling my parents was I had to call Dr. Moore and tell him what had happened, and just how many principals would get up during the middle of the night and pray for a former student. That's right. That's the kind of man Dr. Moore is, and definitely glad to have him in my life for sure and share that.
I knew that story because as soon as he heard, he had called me. And called me down to his office and said, "You won't believe this." And I knew of you, but I had never met you.
Right.
And he told me the story. Yeah, he told me the whole story. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. I said, I bet he's just elated right now.
I was on cloud nine. It didn't even seem real.
And then I started thinking, Dr. Moore, he's 2 weeks behind in dental school.
When I went to the admissions office that morning, they told me I had missed a semester's worth of undergrad, basically, by missing 2 weeks of dental school. So I walked in the admissions office, and they said, "This is the luckiest guy in Chapel Hill." I said, "Amen." They said, well, "You need to get to class. You're missing class right now." So I was in class. After getting the call at 9:23, I was in class at noon that afternoon.
Really?
In biochemistry.
So what did your girlfriend say?
So to pick back up on that story, she was living in the same apartment complex as me, but across the hall. And so I went down the floor across the hall to her apartment and knocked on the door, and ended up, she opens the door, and just this huge red glare just hits me. She's in red head to toe, it seemed. And here I had already changed because I had to go to the dental school as soon as I could. I didn't want that spot to get away. That was the biggest thing. I didn't want to offer it to somebody else. And so she knew when I had a Carolina blue shirt on, something was up. And I told her, and she was elated and beyond happy for me. And so it was a great experience for both of us. And I was just absolutely on cloud nine. It's just hard to remember all the emotions of the day. It was just so crazy. Just such a whirlwind.
And, I'm going to stop you here just for a minute because I talk about, achieving the dream. And your dream at that point was just to get into dental school.
That's right.
Yeah. And so, but people, I think, sometimes assume once you get to this mountaintop or you get to a place where you're like, oh, I did it. That it's easy from there.
That's right. You think you could put it on autopilot and coast, but little did I know that.
Yeah, it never is. I try to tell people, look at, so I taught sports marketing. I love sports. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, someone makes it to college and play sports, because they were good in high school. You think they get to college and just go, okay, great, I made it. That's all. No,
the work's just
keep going. Yeah, the work's just started.
That's right.
And it never ends. When you get there, the work never stops because you're always trying to get better. You're always trying to improve yourself.
The way dental school is structured is you're there pretty much 8 to 5 first year every single day in and day out between lectures and labs, and then slowly trickulating into clinic. So it was a grueling day already to be there that long, and then to have to go home at night and have to study just hours upon hours upon hours, and just feel like you get tested to death. And it was definitely a grueling process the first couple years for sure. And as you matriculate into dental school, you end up having less class and more clinic time, and that's when the fun starts to happen. Really, 3rd and 4th year are a lot of fun because you're in clinic predominantly most of the time, and so that makes it fun interacting with patients and applying what you've learned over the previous years.
So now, what was graduation like? Again, that point of I did it. You get the funny gown, the goofy looking hat.
That's right.
And you're walking across the stage, and you're a doctor.
That's right.
You're like,
it was.
Hey, I just want to let mom, dad, sis.
That's right. I've got a new title. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm the doctor in the family. Just FYI, just letting you all know.
There we go.
And then dad's like, mom and dad said, yeah, we paid for it. Just remember that. Son.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's right.
But yes, I was a part of the 2020 COVID class, I guess. And so our graduation was a little different than most. I had all kinds of celebrations planned with the graduation on Friday night, supposed to be in Carmichael Arena there where Michael Jordan played. So that was going to be pretty cool and all that good stuff. And that week in March with all the sports world canceling and just really putting the world on hold, they ended up calling we had spring break the next week, and so they said, we're going to give you an extra week so we can get our ducks in a row and not knowing what's to come. And so I left that Friday before spring break thinking that, this is a weird feeling. I just don't know that I'm going to be back. Like, there's that chance that I've done my last day in dental school. And sure enough, being away weeks from dental school turned into months, and we started doing online lectures and just reviewing clinical topics via Zoom, and had to do some assignments here and there just to stay sharp and finish up the program. And so graduation was ended up being a celebration, not a true graduation, because they told us they'd have us back whenever it was safe for us to have an in-person graduation. And so we, I guess technically have not had a graduation, but we've had a commencement celebration. And and I've gotten my diploma in the mail, so it's all official.
That's
and some of my classmates had a lot of issues trying to obtain their licensure process going through that.
Yeah.
because of you have to get fingerprinted at the sheriff's department. Well, they've stopped doing that. The board exams where you're working on a live patient, we took those in February. It was the weekend that it snowed, so it was supposed to be on a Friday. It got snowed out, got moved to a Saturday. Luckily, by the grace of God, my patients were able to come Saturday, and once again, I was very fortunate and blessed enough to pass those. And so I was one of the lucky ones that were able to check all those boxes and get my fingerprinting done. And I ended up obtaining my license in the mail in June, which was right on schedule with what the norm is. So just very fortunate and very blessed that once again the stars aligned for that. And so I was a part of the 2020 COVID class, and wouldn't have it any other way. I definitely told my classmates since I got in the first Friday after dental school, I told them I was the fastest graduate in the UNC school dentistry history. Might not have been first, but I was the fastest.
That's right. Man, you have done an amazing job. And just to hear some of the trials and tribulations you went through, and that never quit attitude, and just keep going and going and going. You are definitely a dream big, pray hard, never quit story. I mean, I've heard
definitely.
it.
Great motto to live by. And,
well, thank you. I'm amazed. I don't want to say amazed. I'm proud of what you've done. You've done really well. You know, and I know your parents and your family are extremely proud of you, and how hard you've had to work to get what you've done. And, you know, I know how I am with my kids that, you know, behind the scenes, and they're talking to their friends and stuff. Oh yeah, my son's a doctor. Yeah. You know, and you know, I know they are, because I'd be doing the same thing. I mean,
they're very proud, and I definitely have to give them a lot of credit from giving me a great upbringing and teaching me right from wrong, and teaching me the value of hard work and integrity. And I try to live by that every single day and give it my all. And so I'm very blessed to have parents that poured their all into me as a child, and as I grew up, continued to try to mold me into the man I needed to be.
So now I got to ask, so what are you, 27, 28?
27, turned 27.
27, and you moved back home. You know, you graduate and you move back home. You know, I know you're trying to save money, and
that's right.
So
that's right.
What's that like?
It's pretty nice. My mom.
Okay.
My mom's doing my laundry, ironing my clothes, and cooking meals for me. So she's gonna make it hard to leave.
Is she in the background? Can she hear you?
She probably can. She probably can hear me somewhere, I think. I'm sure she's listening out. But yes,
that is nice.
Definitely giving up some freedom. So there's definitely, it's give and take. But enjoying being at home with them, and so it's a time that I won't be able to get back, so I need to make the most of it. And it works out perfect because my girlfriend that I was telling you about earlier that I dated for 5 years, she followed me to dental school, ended up getting UNC dental school as well. And we're the same age, but she's 2 years behind me, so she has 2 years to go. So she's looking for May 2022 graduation. So that's given me some extra time to move back in with mom and dad and get on my feet a little bit financially before pursuing the next phase of life.
The next phase. That's right. That's right. Well, look, super job. And I can't thank you enough for coming on here and being part of our video series. And I just want to remind everybody what a great example you are, and to have everyone out there go after their dreams, and to always dream big, pray hard, and never quit.
Thank you. Appreciate you letting me be a part of your program, and definitely take that motto to heart, and appreciate all you've done for me, and enjoyed getting to know you as a patient. That's been great.
Oh, you know what? Hey, yeah. Before I end that, let's talk about that. So I did have the pleasure of being, and see, I normally quit after that, but I said, no, let's talk about this because you brought it back up. So I did have the pleasure. You had been practicing, 6 weeks at the time?
That's right. Yep. I started June 19th working for Lefevre's dental team. Actually wasn't an opportunity. I originally was made aware of and was not really planning on that. I'd always wanted to work in private practice, but another one door closed and another one opened. God was looking out for me, and so wound up working with Dr. Scott Lefevers, and got a couple other dentists in there. Dr. Wynn Knight, elderly gentleman that's been around a long time, knows a lot of dentistry, been a great resource for me. And then Dr. Spencer Dale, he's over from Snow Hill and works with us there at Lefevers Dental, and he's been a huge resource. So between the three of them, I've just really lucked up with a wealth of knowledge, and it's helped me to get on my feet and really learning a lot of great technique and skill in dentistry. So I'm enjoying that, and it's just never knew how Christian oriented our dental office was until I started work there. Every morning we start with a morning prayer by Dr. Scott. Sometimes I call him Pastor Scott. He lays it on us in the morning, gets us ready for a big day. And then we have contemporary Christian music playing over the sound system. So some good vibes around the office. And so between the great mentors and the friendly, talented, and helpful staff, I'm just in a great place to be able to be successful and loving every single second of it.
Yeah, it is. I've been going there, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, and I absolutely love it. And I'm not trying to plug them or anything, but, it is. It's a great place, and I remember the first time I walked in there, and I was like, "Wow, this is
very patient-centered
nice
practice." And it's more than just the dentistry; it's about making those relationships, like I was talking about earlier. Yeah. Providing a great service to our community, and I'm tickled to death to be able to come home to Goldsboro and be able to provide dental care to the community that raised me. It's been an honor and a privilege for sure.
So I have had the privilege of being one of your patients, and it was I think you've been there about 6 weeks. Yeah,
that's right.
And so I go in there and I see your picture up on the front wall, and I asked the receptionist. I said, "That's Cameron from ACOG."
That's right.
And she's like, "Yeah, he works here now." I went, "Wow." I was sitting there thinking, "I'm going to get him today." I said, I'm going to get him. And I went back there, and you come in and go, "Hey, Mr. Allen, you mind if I pull your tooth today?" I was like, I need someone to pull it.
Just get it out of here. Just crazy how the world comes full circle like that.
It is. It is. And you did a fabulous job.
I appreciate it.
I hope I was a good patient.
Always.
If you're looking for a good dentist, guys, hey, Dr. Cameron is your man. He's done a super job.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that, and glad you survived to tell the tale.
Yeah. Sir, you have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for being part of this, and very proud of you, as I know your family is as well. And way to dream big, pray hard, never quit.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure it was, and an honor to be a part of your program, and keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate it.